Hello everyone, Obscure Titan here with a fun video. This is where I list off about 9 facts for this animated series on my YouTube channel. Let's lighten around most of them. Fact number 1. There are going to be more Tsuchiya characters. Characters such as Laharl, Valvatoris, and Kyoko Needleworker were considered for the series since Mortal Bros. 2019 had a stronger emphasis of Tsuchiya than Great Unicron Legacy when it had a small portion of it. However, Megatronic Legacy needed to maintain a healthy amount of characters to include and due to time constraints. Fact number 2. Raditops was going to be in Megatronic Legacy. This series was going to have a largely similar emphasis of Shantae's roster, though around 2023, it's seen an overhaul with only just 3 official characters such as Shantae, Vera, and Plink. OCs such as Streak and Julius were still preserved in the final product. This fan-favorite zombie was just not going to make the cut, since the threat of death is a major thing. Fact number 3. Nibiru Crisis 2 was originally called Birth of Godzilla. Nibiru Crisis 2 was not going to be called that initially. During script writing, the story of Nibiru Crisis 2, or Birth of Godzilla, was going to be a Godzilla-focused storyline. The premise was mostly similar to what the upcoming film will entail. Differences may be that Velvet did not have as much plot relevance as the final product will, the roster for it was going to be smaller, and have more focus on the Shiai Ryu's attempts to undercut Shantae. Fact number 4. Mystica has names inspired from Legend of Spyro's worlds. If you've watched Velvet Retaliation, there is a place in Mystica where Mystica reigns, Conquerant Skies. If you play Legend of Spyro A New Beginning, sound familiar? Mystica has that place's name. In fact, if you pay close attention to both Velvet Retaliation and Nibiru Crisis 1, there are skeletal rib cages at the top, resembling a more skeletal appearance in the hallways. Cinder's towers have similar designs and all around. Both of them also have storms outside. Fact number 5. Godzilla Minus One was not originally planned to be canon until later on. Initially, the 1954 Godzilla movie was going to be the only existing source material to be canon to this series because, well, that's what most Godzilla-adjacent material tend to these days. Until Minus One happened. It was the film that broke the 1954 formula and invented an entirely new storyline without relying on its past canon material. After going through script rewrites, Megatronic Legacy's only existing canon is officially Godzilla Minus One. Ironically, Etna mentioned this in Velvet Retaliation.
And to be clear, Lieutenant, you are responsible for creating the Godzilla clone by taking the DNA from the original 25 years ago, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. The Godzilla egg was a bioengineered clone that carries the physical enhances of the Zyglide while also utilizing the raw power of the Godzilla source. We created it as a last resort to thwart out Unicron and its allies.
However, that would be in a future short film called Godzilla Minus 2 when that comes around to fill that small plot hole. Fact number 6. Velvet Crow is going to be a villain. And just die. If you've been following this channel, or on DeviantArt, you'll notice I made a previous design of Velvet where it's closer to her Berseria persona, and her story was going to be much more villainous. She joins Etna on a pagan crusade to resurrect Megatron from his death in World War II, and then she dies for him to be revived. Not goods at all, is it? However, when 2022 rolled about, Velvet received a much more modest outfit, loses an arm, and gets a more heroic role. She would be a physically disabled woman who was a victim of a proxy war Nasty Nork and Unicron started on her hometown, lived with the Carter family in Georgia for 5 years, ran away to Europe for another 5 years, joined Etna and Mystica for a short time until she got betrayed, and now joins alongside Sultan Streak to not only battle against her, but also Shantae and Unicron. Fact number 7. Slight oversight on Mega Terror? Yeah, there was a slight oversight during production, and it was largely due to 2 things. One was China and the Weimar Republic's alliances. It's a complex relationship as they used to be allied in their efforts against Japan. That is until Hitler came into power in between 1933 to 1934, and priorities from Germany have changed. But the big thing to take here is Megaterror was set in 1931, and Megatron mistakenly implied that Hitler was in power before he even officially became Führer 2 to 3 years later after the film's storyline. This is mainly due to my oversight on historical events when writing Megaterror. However, this oversight could also be seen as Megatron not knowing enough about what was going on in the Weimar Republic before it became Nazi Germany at the time. But yeah, silly me. Fact number 8. Thoughts on the Nintendo characters. The Nintendo characters have been a mainstay in my content, all the way from 2010 up until early 2022. From classic Mortal Brothers to plush series, to Kill la Kill Remnant of Ragyo from Mortal Brothers 2019. But the thing is, Nintendo has a really trash record when it comes to copyright problems. Any fan works, even if they're not paid, are at risk of getting struck down by this paranoid game company. Then again, the second Switch isn't exactly doing so well at the moment, so yeah, this was a bold move to not have any Nintendo characters in Megatronic Legacy at all. Though Sega and Bionicle references would be present from point to point, with the latter being more prominent. In fact, Transformers would still be just as prominent as it is, if not more so. It is Megatronic Legacy after all. Fact number 9. Historical connections to factions. Factions such as Mesolika's Socialist Union was heavily inspired from National Socialist Germany, and to an extent, Democratic Republic of North Korea. This is largely due to being an isolationist dictatorship with socialism running in its economic regime. The Dragon Empire Republic has some ties to the United States of America, or as it was originally called, the 13 Colonies. Both of them are republics, and they have 2 or more candidates to get elected. Well, that's it for as far as fun facts go. Would you like to see more of these in the future? You want to know more about how Megatronic Legacy was made? Maybe even some of my other works on some facts that you may not have known of? Feel free to comment and share. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.